This segment is brought to you by Jonathan Miller,
Mhm.
our dude. If you
Mhm.
guys are looking for a home in the Western New York area, regardless of price point, he's the guy you want to contact. We'll give you his phone number in the description. So after the show, if you are looking for a home, whether you're looking to buy or looking to sell, he can help you out. He's a guy like us when it comes to the film, right? And
Mm.
like we use all the different types of technology we can. We're using Huddle right now. I got my handy dandy clicker. We use all the different technology just like John does when it comes to selling or buying homes. He used drone footage, 3D virtual tours, and all of those are like part of the base package of hiring him. And as I said, he works with all different price points and sellers and buyers, and some of his commission from a sale will go towards charity. And like I said, we'll definitely link his information in the YouTube description. But this is what we're gonna call for the season our real estate rewind, and it's Isabella's route, right? It's Isabella's route, that juke route over the middle of the field. I mean, just filthy. Yeah, I don't care who it's against.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to evaluate if he can run this type of route because it's a route the Bills used to run a lot of with Cole Beasley.
Hoss juke.
Yeah, and they weren't able to really run it with McKenzie because of the type of player McKenzie was, but this play, you have to rewind it several times because of how nasty this move is from Isabella.
The pacing is, and first off, actually, as you like let it run here, you can always tell how good a play is by how hyped the sideline is. And the sideline loves the hell out of this play. Like as he gets brought down at the end, you see Diggs over there. You see Sherfield over there. Spencer Brown is loving it. Micah Hyde loves it. Barkley's getting,
Josh is over there too.
Boom. Allen gets into it. Barkley gets into it. Like Gabe Davis is there. Like everybody kind of wants to get a piece of Isabella to let him know like how dope of a play that was.
Right.
And it's real clean. Like I want to say this because I think we may have contributed to some of the hype. Like this was a very good performance from Andy Isabella. Like not necessarily from a holistic stat line, but how he ran his routes and how that fits in conjunction with the Bills offense. Very encouraging. That being said, there it is kind of a decently steep hill for him to climb and make in the roster. But either way, if you're just looking at it in a vacuum, a good performance in this game, a really good route here. Like that juke route over the middle of the field, based on the coverage, he's basically in isolation against that linebacker, which is a huge mismatch, and he makes it look like a mismatch. He had multiple successful routes and conversions in this game as that number 3 receiver to the trip side, with him getting isolated on a nickel corner inside or on a linebacker here. And as you highlight, he puts that right foot in the ground. He has the opportunity for a little two-way go here. So he puts his foot in the ground. The linebacker's thinking he's popping out on an out or like a whip route. He's going back outside. And what's also nice, Isabella runs this right at the sticks, which the linebacker knows. So the linebacker's making a beeline thinking, oh, here comes the quick game. Let me go make a play. And Isabella sits on it enough. He paces it and then shoots back out. He creates instant separation over the middle of the field, makes this read and this job for Kyle Allen so easy and so fluid. Look at the separation. Like that's an easy 3-4 yards of separation. And then we get something that I think this is what endeared him to Bills Mafia, the run after the catch. Like everybody has been clamoring for run after catch year after year after year.
Right.
So for me, it's the precision, it's the pacing, it's the timing, it's the suddenness. He had another really good route with some pacing and some suddenness later in the beautiful. It's coming through. But this one just a lot to like for what he did. And you can hype it up all you want, you can knock it all you want, but just looking at it in a vacuum, really quality route in a big situation. And kudos to him for doing it.
Yeah, and again, it's an uphill battle for him. But we talked about it all off season, and we're talking about the draft and how the Bills have to get back to controlling the middle of the field to set up guys outside and control the sticks and control the tempo of the game. Yes, Kincaid's going to help a lot in that department. Hardy's going to help a lot in that area. But again, Hardy's another guy, when we're talking injuries, has had injuries the last few years.
Yes.
Hardy's also a guy that is going to be probably their primary returner. These are things that Isabella does. So will he make the starting 53? Probably not. But he's a guy that the Bills are going to try to probably put on at least a practice squad. I think after what he's shown in a short amount of time, I think they want that sort of insurance for Hardy, who I think is going to have a decent role this year.
Yeah, we've talked Hardy's skill set up, and not just because he was brought to the Bills. Like when you watch the tape, he's got suddenness, he's got decisiveness in his route, and then you add the speed and the burst. But Eric, like you mentioned, like the biggest knock, he can't stay healthy for whatever reason, and it's more than just some fluky things. So having somebody kind of waiting in the wings with a similar skill set like Andy Isabella would be a huge boon for this offense. And like Charles says, you think Isabella won't get claimed. It's tough. He's been dropped basically by two teams this offseason,
Yeah.
once by the Cardinals, once by the Ravens, both teams that could use wide receiver reinforcement.
Right.
Granted, they are, the Cardinals are under a new regime, so he was a second round pick of the former regime, so maybe they're not a fan, so they're cutting bait. For whatever reason, Todd Monken and the crew in Baltimore weren't a fan. But if you get a guy who has some veteran experience and who shows out this way, if he continues to do well and has these moments, it could be tough for a guy like that to go to the practice squad. And that's the risk. Eric, we saw it last year with Isaiah Hodgins, right? A guy
Yeah.
who had a really good offseason and preseason, maybe wasn't enough to crack the 53, but was better than being just a practice squad guy on the Bills, and a team who needed a wide receiver, and the Giants scooped him up and he started making plays. You could potentially see a similar path for Andy Isabella. Granted, they're on different trajectories with their career.
Yeah, like I said, I normally don't get swept up in this type of banter, but I don't know, for some reason, it's not even just Isabella. It's going to be a couple of the other guys we talk about too, because of, again, just the depth at the wide receiver position for the Bills. I like it. I like the
Mhm.
different skill sets, the basketball team mentality of,
Mm,
guys with different skill sets on
yes.
top of, again, the hybrid type players you're getting in Kincaid and Knox now. So, and then Cook as a receiver.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to have these weapons, and I think having different types of weapons at the bottom part of the wide receiver depth chart is fun. It's a fun conversation to have. And this route was just filthy, which is why we had to name it the real estate rewind for the week. Just really, really good stuff from Isabella.